Today's video lesson is the creation of Object 6 using SketchUp. It's from plate 5.32. So the first thing you need to do is get the overall dimensions of your object set. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 halves. That's 3.5 inches. 1/4 there, so that would make it 3 3/4. We've got 7 quarters here, which is 1 3/4, and then we have 1.5 inches of height. So getting started with a new file here. We zoom in. Going to create a rectangle. The rectangle is going to be 3.75, comma 1.75. There's the basic dimensions of it here. We need to give it some height, 1.5. And so there's the cube. Now I'm going to start over here on the left-hand side. There's this U-shaped channel. Now the first thing I need to know is how far this distance to the edge is from the left. And I see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 halves, which is 2 inches. And I see each leg of the U-shape is a 1/2 inch. So starting tape measure tool, over 2 inches. Each leg of the U is a 1/2. I'm going to take a rectangle. And I'm going to push-pull this to subtract it away. Now, before I get too much further here, I need to take a look at the base pad. I need to note its thickness here. It's a 1/2 inch thick. So I'm going to go back to my modeler. I'm going to take the tape measure tool. I'm going to drag this up a 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to divide this face here. And I'm going to push-pull this downward to this line right here. It should be a 1/2 inch thick. So there's the basic shape of the object. Now what we have to do is start putting the holes in. Now the holes follow a very similar pattern to what some of our other shapes are. We can see that it's a 1/4 inch from each edge. So that means the whole center is a 1/2 inch in. So I'm going to take a guideline tool once again, measure in a 1/2 inch, and do the same from the front edge toward the back. And then right where those intersect there, I'm going to create a circle that's exactly a 1/2 inch in diameter, so 0.25 radius. Alright, we're going to do a little different technique here. We're going to copy this. So I'm going to take the select tool, I'm going to select the circle, and I'm going to click the move tool. And once I click the move tool, watch the cursor up here in the left corner or in the right corner. I'm going to click the control key with my finger and see how the little plus sign appears. Okay, that tells me it's going to copy. So now I'm going to give a reference point for the copy there by clicking in the center of the circle and then moving it over to this edge here. Now note the red axis line tells me it's exactly in the same position. And I give it one last click. Now once I have that, then I can go ahead and subtract these circles away just like I would normally. So that's just a little time saver right there. Alright, clean up the guidelines. Now the other one, the other hole in the base pad, it's 3/4 of an inch in diameter and it's centered. Okay, and I know this here because I could just do the math on this, and I see that it's centered on this surface. So I think what I'll do is just go ahead and take the guideline here and then measure over to the midpoint, and I'm going to do the same thing here, and then right where that intersects there, I'm going to create a circle, and the circle's diameter or radius is going to be 0.375 because half of 3/4 of an inch is 3/8 of an inch, which is 0.375. And then I'm just going to subtract it. Oops. There we go. Alright, clean up my guidelines, and I'm going to turn on back edges. Whoops. Back edges, and I also want to turn on hidden geometry. Alright, make sure and save your file there. Let's turn off fog. We're going to make sure and save and then export this out to the appropriate 2D file. Alright, good luck with your model. This concludes this video.